Good evening, I'm Matt Woodman. This is CTV News at 6. Tonight, soccer send-off. Edmonton will host a Team Canada friendly match before the team heads to the World Cup.
This event is a massive win for Edmonton.
Stuck in the snow, a disabled woman stranded for hours on a DATS bus.
I get it, it's bad. It's bad in my neighborhood too, but something else needs to happen to get them off the bus, to get the bus moving.
And cheaper carbon fiber. Local scientists working on a material stronger than steel that could be used in hockey sticks and pipelines.
It requires 50% less of energy to produce.
It was another record-setting day today. We'll tell you just how warm it got this afternoon and talk about the gusty conditions and slightly cooler temperatures on tap for tomorrow.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Matt Woodman.
Edmonton may have missed out on hosting World Cup matches this summer, but fans in our city will still have a chance to see the team in action just days before the FIFA tournament begins. CTV's Jeremy Thompson has the details.
Thank you. Good ball, touchdown!
That goal and this iconic snowbank celebration helped Canada qualify for the last World Cup. 4.5 years later, fans in our city will get another chance to see the country's top talent in action.
But this time, we get to do it in June, not November. So we're fairly confident snow pants won't be a requirement.
Canada Soccer, along with the city and tourism body Explore Edmonton, announcing the men will play Uzbekistan at Commonwealth Stadium June 1st, just 10 days before the World Cup.
This event is a massive win for Edmonton, promising a stunning $21 million in total economic impact.
Edmonton did bid on being a host city for the North America World Cup, ultimately losing out to Vancouver and Toronto.
This flag, I had it in Qatar for the World Cup. I got fans from across the world to sign it.
Larry Zima has followed the team around the world, as you can tell by his scarf collection. He says Team Canada is looking dangerous as momentum builds for the tournament and thinks the friendly match is a worthy consolation prize.
Anytime you get the national team in your city, it's a good thing, but leading up, like one of the final two matches before the official kickoff, that's a big check mark.
Of course, in Edmonton, if you're going to mention who the players are, you have to mention our captain, Alphonso Davies. I know Alfonso's incredibly excited about this match.
The hometown hero will lead his team onto a grass pitch to be replaced with turf for the Elks football season. A city spokesperson says the grass is likely where the bulk of Edmonton's $500,000 sponsorship dollars for the event will go.
We know the energy in a packed Commonwealth Stadium with over 50,000 fans will once again give our team the ultimate send-off before the biggest tournament in our history.
Tickets go on sale January 23rd. Jeremy Thompson, CTV News, Edmonton.
A woman in Edmonton wants change after her disabled sister was left on a DATS bus for several hours. The bus got stuck in the snow late yesterday afternoon, and so did the tow truck initially called in to help. CTV's Amanda Anderson reports.
There are still ruts in the middle of the cul-de-sac where a dedicated accessible transit service bus known as DATS got stuck in the snow Tuesday.
I just grabbed some shovels, some sand, some ice melt, like anything that we had, any tools that we had. We were poorly equipped to be able to move a vehicle that size.
Despite Matt Music and his neighbors' efforts, the bus wouldn't budge. One of the passengers on board was Terenia Maiden's sister, who has cognitive and physical disabilities. She was scheduled to be picked up at 3 o'clock.
Got picked up at 3:30, and at 4:30 we were kind of like, right, it's an hour and a half, 13-minute drive. Where are you? What's going on?
She called DATS dispatch and heard this.
She's somewhere in the city. She's got multiple stops before she's home. She's coming.
As maidens waited for answers, a tow truck had been called to pull the bus out.
The tow truck was stuck there, and I saw that they had moved it out of its initial first spot, and then the bus got stuck a second time closer to the front of my house.
After 3.5 hours, Maidens was able to reach the caregiver on the bus with her sister, get an address, and pick them up.
To be sitting for 3 hours with nothing is ridiculous. It's not humane. I get it, it's bad. It's bad in my neighborhood too, but something else needs to happen to get them off the bus, to get the bus moving. Like another bus should have come to pick them up, or a taxi or an Uber, or some contact should have been made to the family.
This disability advocate says being stuck on the bus that long is unacceptable and communication is key.
Come clean about what's going on, then
everybody's on the same page, I'm sure there'll be a lot more empathy and understanding.
That's all Maidens wanted. She says DATS has a policy to contact family if there's an accident and wants the same for this type of situation.
If I knew that they were stuck and still waiting and it would be an hour for a tow truck, we would have come a lot sooner to get her.
Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Edmonton.
And CTV News reached out to the city for a comment on that story this morning. It says it will get back to us. An Edmonton crisis prevention shelter for kids is receiving more calls after the holidays. CTV's Miriam Valdez-Carletti explains why.
Kids Cottage, Danica speaking.
The phone lines have been busy at Kids Cottage. With the magic of the holidays gone, some parents are finding themselves in a crisis.
Typically after Christmas is kind of when reality hits, and most families are heavily depleted of all the resources that they've used up during Christmas time.
Parents looking to cope during their emergency can leave their children here for up to 72 hours or more. Kids Cottage provides shelter and care for infants and children.
They're struggling with providing their kids with basic necessities of life, things like food, shelter.
Between December 26th to January 7th, Kids Cottage saw a 67% increase in crisis calls compared to the same time last year. Of those calls, a third of them were related to a parental mental health crisis, followed by parents feeling distressed and physical injury or hospitalization. Kids Cottage says some parents can have more than one reason.
We know that about a quarter of the children that we have come to Kids Cottage are homeless. That would be a high priority thing. So getting evicted or looking for a different housing.
Kids Cottage only has 12 beds and can have between 30 to 50 children waiting for a bed at a time.
It can be heartbreaking. There's only so much that we can do, so it really can be hard on us and the staff working here to turn families away.
So we do try to connect families to as many things as we can as possible if we can't accommodate their children.
Kids Cottage says while parents might not want to ask for help, bringing them here while parents get sorted can help in the long run.
Given that the resource of our nature is very rare, a lot of resources go towards after apprehension has happened, but not a lot of resources go towards preventing the family from breaking apart.
With more families in need every year, Kids Cottage is already working to open a new space in the near future. Miriam Valdez-Carletti, CTV News, Edmonton.
The Alberta government plans to test drinking water in all provincially owned buildings. It will spend the next year testing for lead and copper. A spokesperson for Alberta's infrastructure minister says it's being proactive. Previously, testing was only done as needed. A request for proposals published by the province says the project will cover more than 200 buildings. That includes the provincial legislature and courthouses. Calgary's water restrictions could be lifted by the end of the week. Today marked a major milestone in water main repair work. Traffic is now moving in an area affected by last year's water main break. However, crews will have to rip it all up and fix it properly again in the spring. Underneath the repaired section of the pipe is being closely monitored. Millions of liters of water are being pumped through the repair feeder main to test it over the next few days. If everything holds, water restrictions will ease by the weekend.
Returning the Bearspaw South feeder main to service is a delicate process. We can't guarantee there won't be another break during this time, so we are proceeding very carefully and gradually to return this pipe into service safely.
The province is asking the city for all documents and reports related to Calgary's water system. The municipal affairs minister says he has concerns over its management and will conduct his own review. Local scientists are trying to find a cheaper way to turn bitumen into carbon fiber 5 times stronger than steel. They say in a few years, the research could lead to more jobs while more than doubling the value of this Alberta-rich resource. CTV's Connor Hogg reports.
These machines are pulling, spinning, and heating, creating a new product out of Alberta bitumen.
The idea that there was something about the chemistry in bitumen that could be used in different ways beyond, the way it's being used now in terms of energy.
We're not using the entire amount of the bitumen. We're just going to be using the kind of the heavier portions or the lower value.
Bitumen from the oil sands is put through a process called spinning, which creates long filaments that resemble hair. Those filaments are then strung together and ran through this machine and several furnaces to improve its properties. The end result is a carbon fiber that could make the original bitumen worth 2.5 times more than its current value.
Create a higher value product from the lower value component.
The carbon fiber being made in this test facility can be used to make objects like bicycles and hockey sticks, or even for reinforcing pipelines.
It requires 50% less of energy to produce, which, from a manufacturing perspective as well as from an environmental perspective is very attractive.
Creating a supply chain, a complete supply chain all the way from producing the bitumen to creating end-use products that consumers can use.
The next step is taking the technology out of the lab and into larger scale manufacturing, with the goal of encouraging companies to move here and creating more jobs in the years ahead.
The cost of moving bitumen to other parts of the country or around the world, of course, is part of what companies will consider.
Alberta Innovates says the provincial government is excited about the possibilities, and organizations have already started to show interest, with one BC carbon fiber company relocating to Alberta to use the facility. A new way to use a product already plentiful in the prairies. Connor Hogg, CTV News, Edmonton.
Edmonton's Deep Freeze Festival will be feeling the heat. Deep Freeze, a Byzantine winter festival, takes over 118th Avenue this weekend. Ice carvers are getting their pieces ready while dealing with some unseasonably warm temperatures. The Deep Freeze Festival celebrates winter and the new year. This year's theme is Under the Stars. Organizers say with the above freezing temperatures, they've had to make some adjustments.
We know that the longevity of the ice won't be as long, so we make a few different alterations as the sculptors might do. A little bit smaller pieces with more pieces so that people can see the demos throughout the weekend. And of course, the big snow hill with the ice slide is facing a different direction, so the sun isn't hitting it straight on.
Deep Freeze runs Saturday and Sunday on 118th Avenue between 90th and 95th Streets. And the current temperatures are also affecting the Ice Castle in Ice District. The attraction is closed down temporarily. Organizers say they hope to reopen next week. Josh, I wonder if they'll be renaming the Deep Freeze Festival to the Big Thaw Festival if temperatures don't cool down around here in time.
It is going to cool a little bit for tomorrow and Friday. I think Saturday is going to be really sloppy once again, potentially another record on Saturday. Sunday for the Deep Freeze Festival. Yeah, I think organizers are going to be pleased with temperatures that day. Today, 11.6 shattered the old record. It's almost 3.5 degrees hotter than the previous record high for January 14th, which was 8.3, set in 1942. So we said yesterday we would very likely break this record today, and yeah, we did in a big way. Again, your morning low, -2. Was well above the average high for this time of year. This was the second warmest January day in the 2000s. Monday was the fourth warmest. If you look back all the way to the late 1800s, this was the fifth warmest temperature ever recorded in the month of January in Edmonton. It has cooled significantly since hitting 12 degrees earlier today. 6 in Edmonton right now. It's 8 in Villeneuve, 8 in Nemeo. YEG's dropped to 1 at the airport there south of the city already. I think we'll only get to around 1 for a morning low here in the city. Sky's pretty clear across most of the province, but you can see a little twist there up in northeastern Alberta. There's a low pressure system that's going to slide through, and on the backside of that, some really gusty wind expected overnight tonight and through the day tomorrow. Look at those gusts, 40 to 60 kilometers per hour overnight and through the morning hours, and still 40 to 60 kilometer per hour gusts through tomorrow afternoon with temperatures still way above zero, but a lot cooler than they were today. We'll take a closer look at your 5-day forecast in a couple minutes.
All right, Josh, thank you. Coming up next on CTV News, protecting players.
Sticking our head in the sand and pretending that it's not there isn't going to make it better.
A look at the rules the province will soon implement for online gambling sites and apps. Also just ahead.
It just doesn't make any sense. For our members, it doesn't make any sense. For Alberta consumers, it doesn't make any sense.
Why people involved with Alberta's hospitality industry say a new tax on premium wine hurts the Buy Canadian movement.
Coming up Thursday, why do we make New Year's resolutions? A couple of weeks into 2026, we'll talk to a psychologist about goals and making them stick. Plus, medical advice as we age.
Your Morning Edmonton, weekdays.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
New online gambling rules are coming to Alberta this spring. The province will soon regulate the iGaming industry, opening the door to private betting platforms while implementing changes to protect players. CTV's Tim Brooke has more on what the move means and on why some believe it's long overdue.
CJ92 radio host Jesse Mods has quit online gambling, but he's still vocal about his concerns with the industry.
I expect there to be tons more people with gambling issues as the years go on with just how in your face it is.
These days, betting ads are almost inescapable. And once you're on these apps spending money, it's tough to leave.
If you want to stop gambling, they make it incredibly hard.
Part of that is due to iGaming rules, or the lack thereof, in Alberta. Right now, government-owned Play Alberta is the only licensed site in the province, but it's estimated it captures only about 30% of the total market. The rest goes to companies with offshore licenses who don't always have to play by Canadian rules.
We're not bringing online gambling to the province. It's already here. And so sticking our head in the sand and pretending that it's not there isn't going to make it better.
And so changes are coming. Alberta will soon regulate the industry, putting in place time and betting limits and banning athletes from promoting gambling.
Also, and the one that we are probably the most proud of is we are going to have system-wide self-exclusion on day one.
That exclusion rule would allow Albertans to ban themselves from online and in-person betting. It will be tricky to implement, but experts say if done strictly, it could slow a major problem.
That is ultimately the solution to the problem. It's you, it's not me, it's not the government. You got to make the decision for yourself.
Recent Canadian reporting says about 1 in 3 young adults gamble online. And of those aged 18 to 29, almost 24% experienced a high level of gambling-related harms, including credit card debt or savings losses. The province and Mods hope the new regulations can help curb some of that. Tim Brooke, CTV News, Calgary.
Some people in the hospitality industry are slamming Alberta's tax on premium wine. Industry reps from BC and Alberta say they've taken a big hit and it's hurting the Buy Canadian movement. The province commits it's tax-friendly. CTV's Stephanie Thomas reports.
About 9 months after Alberta introduced a new tax on wine above a certain price point, retailers and restaurant groups say they are fed up.
It just doesn't make any sense. For our members, it doesn't make any sense. For Alberta consumers, it doesn't make any sense.
The province calls it an ad valorem tax. It's an additional 5 to 15% tax applied to wine depending on the per litre cost of the bottle of wine. Wine Growers British Columbia says small or family-owned wines are unfairly targeted as the majority fall into the highest tax bracket. For Vinroom owner Phoebe Fung, she says it's increased her costs by 20% and she's absorbing it for now.
We've been lucky enough, we're riding it through right now, but I will tell you, this is not sustainable in the long term. We are buying less Canadian products. It's become more expensive, so we now are going towards other countries to buy direct from them.
Some Calgary wine agents say large multinational producers are getting an undeserved boost.
It hasn't affected, these low-end wine product companies. It's all sort of the small business and really the bread and butter of our entire, and the engine of our entire national economy being affected.
We're seeing restaurant orders decline. We're seeing retail orders decline. It is now harder and more expensive to sell Canadian wine in Alberta than it has ever been.
In a statement, the Minister for Red Tape Reduction says Alberta is the most tax-friendly and open and free jurisdiction in Canada for alcohol, including wine.
Minister Nally can spin this the way he wants to, but really this makes no sense, and it is impacting pretty much every single bottle of wine over $11.25.
He says a flat, low% tax applied across all liquor would have been better. Stephanie Thomas, CTV News, Calgary.
Still to come tonight, gaining an international audience.
Reference out of the blue got us really excited, so we came down for the day and checked it out.
An historical Indigenous site in Alberta highlighted during the season premiere of an HBO Max show.
Little bit of a cool down on the way for tomorrow and Friday, although temperatures will remain above zero for daytime highs and well above average. Those details and your 10-day forecast right after the break.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Breaking news this evening, fire crews are battling flames near downtown Edmonton. This is the view from our drone right now. Flames and smoke are coming out of a building, a high-rise building on 115th Street and 100th Avenue. We'll bring you the latest once more information becomes available. One of the 6 UNESCO World Heritage Sites in Alberta is gaining a new international audience after it was mentioned in the season premiere of The Pit. Many Albertans had keen ears, and now staff are hopeful it will spur on a blast of new visitors near Fort Macleod. CTV's Tyson Fedor reports.
Nestled at the foot of the Rocky Mountains is Head Smashed in Buffalo Jump. The historical Indigenous site showcases exhibits, trails, and lookout points of where the Blackfoot people use their knowledge of buffalo behavior to kill their prey for food.
We pride ourselves on being stewards of a sacred site. Bring more understanding of what the Southern Alberta landscape has to offer, and what more specifically what Head Smashed In has to offer in terms of the ancient buffalo hunt and the culture of the Blackfoot people.
The site, located west of Fort Macleod, was peppered into some dialogue between 2 ER doctors on the season 2 premiere of HBO Max's show, The Pit.
Where you going? Head Smashed In Buffalo Jump.
Captain Crunch flying squirrel socks. Are we talking in code or you having a stroke?
It's an Aboriginal UNESCO heritage site in Alberta.
We had no idea. It was a pleasant surprise.
It's unclear how the writers ended up featuring Head Smashed In Buffalo Jump for Noah Wile's character, Dr. Michael Rabinovich's script, but was centered around discussion of taking a sabbatical. However, that scene that aired last week has sparked a flurry of visitors to the park.
We watched The Pit. We love it. It's a great show. Big fans of ER, big fans of Noah Wile. Complete reference out of the blue. Got us really excited, so we came down for the day and check it out. We've had a ball. It's awesome.
Travel Alberta has also featured the scene in a recent video.
Heard you going on a trip?
Take a sabbatical. Leave tonight.
Where you going?
Head Smashed In Buffalo Jump.
The Pit recently won several Golden Globes, including Best TV Series for Drama. Now, staff of the world-famous site are hopeful the international attention draws out even more curious travelers.
The average, about 250 to 275 motor coaches coming to our site, mostly from the United States. So we figure that might increase with this little mention.
Tyson Fedor, CTV News, near Fort Macleod.
Suddenly have the urge to visit southern Alberta, Josh. I have no idea why. Could it be that story? Probably.
That or the fact it was like 20 degrees in southern Alberta this afternoon.
That helps as well. Can't believe that.
It was 12 here in Edmonton, new record high. We'll talk more about that in a moment. 6 degrees right now as you look at the River Valley Sky Cams, brought to you by Action Furnace. Fixed right or it's free. Kind of shaking around a little bit. The wind reports aren't all that bad in Edmonton just yet. They are really gusty in parts of east central and northeastern Alberta. Look at these temperatures. Yesterday, not quite a record here in Edmonton. We were 0.2 of a degree off a record daytime high, but there were 15 records broken across the province yesterday. I would guess there's well over a dozen records that are broken today, including here in Edmonton. Look at Fort McMurray and Slave Lake hit 11 degrees this afternoon. Lethbridge, 18 this afternoon. Because Monday was 10.3 and today was 11.6, that's 2 days 10 degrees or hotter, and that does not happen very often in January. This is one of just 6 years where we've had multiple double-digit days in the month of January on the positive side. There's your low-pressure system off to the northeast. Fairly clear skies across most of the province, but already pretty gusty in through this area, and it's going to get worse overnight tonight. Tomorrow morning, gusts could be 80 to 90 kilometers per hour in east central Alberta. I think parts of northeastern Alberta could see 70 to 80 kilometer per hour gusts as well. There's your wind starting to kick in out of the northwest. We may even see a little bit of light snow there in parts of east central and northeastern Alberta overnight and tomorrow morning, and so that combined with the gusty wind could cause some significant visibility problems on area highways. Just sort of keep that in mind. Snow doesn't look like it's going to be all that heavy, but any snow with that kind of wind will give you some visibility issues. Here in Edmonton, I don't think we'll see any of that snow. I mean, there might be a couple of snowflakes in the morning, but no heavy snow. And then sunshine breaks out through the afternoon. We'll keep the fairly clear skies, it looks like, through into the evening hours as well. Here was today, really warm in the greens and the yellows. Watch the cooler air that starts to sink in through tomorrow. I think we're still up a handful of degrees above zero here in Edmonton, but across the north, you've got some really cold air that will sink into east central Alberta for Friday. And we'll kind of be on the edge of that cooler air Friday. One last big warm-up Saturday. I think we get a chance to break another record on Saturday. And if we're going to get one more double-digit day this month, Saturday would be it. After that, things gradually start to cool off through early next week. And by the middle to the end of next week, we're back to around or below average. Daytime highs minus 10 to 15 range by the end of next week. Here's what the next 5 days look like, though. Yes, cooler than today, but still way above average. It's 8 in Fort McMurray right now, 5 in Grand Prairie. We're at 6 in Edmonton. Lloydminster, it's 5 degrees. Wind right now is gusting to about 35, 40 kilometers per hour. Fort McMurray already has gusts close to 60. And look at high level, gusting to about 75 kilometers per hour. I think we'll get gusts in the 40 to 60 kilometer per hour range overnight tonight and right through the day tomorrow. High of about 5 degrees early in the afternoon. 1 on Friday. We're back to 8 Saturday. And then a slight chance of flurries on Sunday with temperatures 2 to 4 degrees above zero early next week.
All right, Josh, thank you. When we return, discussions with Denmark.
We're going to see what happens, but we need it.
Danish officials meet with U.S. President Donald Trump as he expressed his wish to conquer Greenland. Plus, au revoir, Quebec, why the premier of the province is stepping down.
Programming brought to you by the Billy Joel Songbook with your Edmonton Symphony Orchestra. Learn more at winspearcenter.com.
Denmark's foreign affairs minister says U.S. President Donald Trump is making it clear he wants to conquer Greenland. CTV's Joy Melbourne has more on the high-stakes meeting held at the White House today.
After months of fielding threats, Denmark ramped up its military presence in Greenland with the help of its NATO neighbors, Air Force, Navy, and Sweden sending in troops, part of a promise to beef up Arctic defense. And to counter President Donald Trump's threats, for months Trump insisted the mineral-rich island is vital to U.S. national security, posting, "It is vital for the Golden Dome that we are building," referring to his missile defense system. If we don't, Russia or China will, and that is not going to happen. The White House mocking what it calls Greenland's defenses, posting this image of sled dogs.
It is not easy to think innovative about solutions when you wake up every morning to different threats.
We're going to see what happens, but we need it.
After their White House meeting, the Danish minister insists China and Russia are not immediate threats, but will look for ways to accommodate Trump's concerns.
Of course, we share, to some extent, his concerns. There is definitely a new security situation in the Arctic and the high north.
Adding, it's totally unacceptable not to respect Greenland's sovereignty. And Trump's ultimatums, well, they're not going over well with Greenlanders.
The United States will try to buy Greenland or they will invade it.
I'm afraid that he will destroy the NATO alliance and he threatens our kingdom and the Greenlanders, and I really don't like that.
The delegation says it will meet with the Trump administration again in hopes of strengthening cooperation, but with one big red line: as allies and not owned by the United States. Joy Melbourne, CTV News, Washington.
Now that partial phone service has been restored in Iran, we're learning more about the arbitrary detention of protesters, fast trials, and planned executions. Activists say more than 2,500 Iranians have been killed by the regime. CTV's Adrian Golbriel has more tonight on an advisory from Global Affairs for Canadians to leave.
As smoke rises above the streets of Tehran and protesters clashed with security forces, Global Affairs Canada is issuing a clear warning to Canadians in Iran. Get out of the country immediately.
This is a very real threat, and it is escalating.
On January 8th, Iran's government cut off the country from the internet. Since then, Iranians have been risking their lives to share these images of brutality with the world. Today, Iran's judiciary head signaled that trials and the execution of protesters would be fast-tracked despite warnings of a military response from U.S. President Donald Trump. Personnel at a key U.S. military base in Qatar have been advised to evacuate by tonight as concerns of a repeat attack on American troops there begin to escalate.
The fact that, the United States has pulled out some of their troops in Qatar is indicative that they think that that threat is real. They have some intelligence, and they're probably got things planned to attack, Iran. And, what are they going to attack? It could be military sites. It could be infrastructure. But we should expect something.
With more than 2,500 believed to be dead, Iran hasn't seen this level of violence since the chaos surrounding the country's 1979 Islamic Revolution. The protests broke out on December 28th after the collapse of Iran's currency, as the country's economy was squeezed by international sanctions levied in part over its nuclear program. Holding up signs of Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, thousands took to the streets outside Tehran University for a pro-government mass funeral on Wednesday, as caskets draped in the country's flag, said to be carrying the bodies of approximately 100 security officials and civilians killed in the clashes, were paraded down the streets. Though this is a country far from united, there is a shared concern, as some military experts warn targeted U.S. strikes on Iran may be imminent. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Toronto.
François Legault is calling it quits as Quebec's premier. He's been leading the province since 2018.
Surtout pour le bien du Québec.
Legault says for the good of his party and his province, it's time to step down. One of the most popular premiers across Canada, Legault has faced months of dropping poll results, falling to last place in Quebec. Legault has pledged to stay on until the party elects a new leader. There will be an election in Quebec this fall. Canada's top court is hearing a case that tests the legal limits of citizens to challenge decisions made by all levels of government. CTV's Judy Trin has the details.
The Supreme Court of Canada is hearing a challenge to the federal government's shielding of a former ethics commissioner from judicial review.
The Attorney General of Canada is here today to defend that exercise of Parliament's authority, Parliament's institutional design choice.
The case is rooted in the We Charity scandal. In 2020, the charity, with close ties to former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, was awarded a sole source contract to administer a $912 million student grants program during the COVID-19 pandemic.
I did not influence the public service to choose this organization.
Although Trudeau's mother, brother, and former spouse received more than $400,000 in speaking fees and expenses from the charity, Ethics Commissioner Mario Dion found the former Prime Minister didn't break the Conflicts of Interest law. To seek accountability, advocacy group Democracy Watch challenged the finding but lost in the Federal Court of Appeal on the grounds that it falls under Parliament's authority.
It would be absurd for us to be appealing back to the Prime Minister or MPs to overrule an ethics commissioner ruling about the Prime Minister. Because they would all be biased and partisan.
It's now up to the Supreme Court to decide if Democracy Watch can mount a legal challenge. The decision could impact the ability of Canadians to appeal decisions made by other commissions and tribunals on everyday matters.
Administrative law itself is everyday justice. Everything from decisions about refugee protection to access to social benefits like welfare, to, professional regulation.
Over 2 days, the Supreme Court will also hear arguments from lawyers representing the provinces, municipalities, business groups, and immigrants and refugees. But the top court isn't expected to make a decision for a few months. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Coming up next, the Prime Minister arrives in China.
I think that this was a really important opportunity to reset the relationship.
What people are hoping Mark Carney accomplishes as the first Canadian PM to visit China in more than a decade. Also just ahead. How a man from Alberta is already making Olympic history in Italy. Here's a look at the markets on this Wednesday evening. The Canadian dollar up ever so slightly, trading for 72 cents against the American dollar. Oil was up 95 cents, closing the day at $61.88 U.S. a barrel. Gold gained $36.60. The TSX ended the day higher by 46 points. The Dow Jones lost 42 points. A Canadian Prime Minister is on Chinese soil for the first time in more than a decade. Conversations around trade, energy, and agriculture are all on the table. As CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver reports, many Canadians are looking for movement on agricultural tariffs.
It wasn't long ago that Canada called China a disruptive power. Now the language has softened as Prime Minister Mark Carney's government looks to bring stability back to a frigid diplomatic relationship.
This is a new government with a new Prime Minister, a new foreign policy. In this moment of economic stress for our country, it is necessary for us to diversify our trading partners.
And Carney has made it clear that rethinking includes increasing non-U.S. exports through deeper partnerships with countries like China. And over the next few days, the Prime Minister will be pitching Canada to business and government leaders as a place to invest.
I think that this was a really important opportunity to reset the relationship at a time when we're obviously dealing with a much tougher United States and where our Canadian national interests have to be rethought.
A key area of debate and likely disagreement, Canadian tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles and Chinese tariffs on Canadian canola products. Government officials say it's reasonable to expect progress on so-called trade irritants, but the definitive removal of tariffs is unlikely.
Our ultimate goal is to restore market access to China, have more smoother, predictable trade with our number 2 export market. And so we're looking for signs of progress and resolution on that front.
While that resolution may not happen, Ottawa is framing this business visit to Beijing as a stepping stone on a larger plan to normalize relationships and help reopen lines of communications. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Beijing.
While some Canadians reevaluate winter getaways amid ongoing tensions between Canada and the United States, many are still flocking south for the season. CTV's Scott Hurst has more.
We have seen a noticeable drop for much of the year in the number of Canadian travelers looking to head south of the border, but the decline in snowbirds may not be as pronounced. A recent survey by Snowbird Advisor focusing on Canadians looking to escape the cold, mostly retirees, shows a roughly 15% drop in respondents saying they're making other plans, and some are choosing other destinations such as Mexico or Spain. But the majority of respondents to the survey say they're still planning to spend their winter in the United States.
Bottom line is, if you own a house, you are not going to go to Mexico with a house sitting in Florida or Palm Springs or something like that. Crowds are down. The amount of people attending events and things like that are 100% down, no question about it. But as far as the snowbird side of things, I'm seeing very little downturn at this point at all.
For the snowbirds who are staying home or going elsewhere, some of the reasons have to do with the current political climate, threats made to our sovereignty by the Trump administration, and uncertainty over new requirements for Canadians at the Canada-U.S. border. Also, many are pointing to the weak Canadian dollar as a reason not to go to the United States. Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
A man from Alberta is already making Olympic history, even though the 2026 Winter Games don't begin until next month. This is ice master Mark Messer. He's been working at Calgary's Olympic Oval since 1987 and has contributed to 6 previous Olympics. Now he's in Italy, where he created the game's first indoor temporary speed skating rink. He's been working on the ice there since October. The 2026 Olympics run February 6th until the 22nd. When we return, putting in the plumbing.
I never thought I would want to be like an electrician or a plumber, and now I'm just like, this is brilliant. This is awesome.
How these grade 10 students are getting a head start in the trades.
We've got another great night of entertainment coming up right here on CTV, starting at 7 with E-Talk.
Returning to some breaking news this evening, Edmonton firefighters are searching a building just west of downtown after a fire broke out. Viewer video shows flames engulfing a balcony of a building on 115th Street and 100th Avenue. Edmonton Fire says crews arrived just before 6 o'clock. It says the building is a residential building and crews are searching for anyone inside. Edmonton Fire Rescue Services adds there may be one person injured. We will bring you the very latest on our website, ctvnewsedmonton.ca, and on CTV News at 11:30. A home builder in Airdrie is giving high school students a chance to be part of a construction project from start to finish. It's a hands-on experience where they learn trades and still keep up with their studies. CTV's Kevin Fleming has the latest.
It will take these 4 grade 10 students just over a day to insulate this Airdrie home. Easton Border is making sure everything fits just right.
Yeah, I would say it's pretty important to have it pretty snug and pretty nicely fit. Otherwise, the frost can seep through and really damage your house.
They're working under the watchful eye of Dale Martin, who's been teaching his craft to students for 5 years. He says there was nothing like this when he was in high school.
No, I wish I did. I would have loved to have a program like this. I think it's fantastic for the kids to learn every single trade as you go.
The students are always learning, and that includes classroom time for their grade 10 studies. The garages for the homes have been turned into their school.
We do take our academics really seriously here, and so it's like you're not catching up in your classes and you're not allowed to go work on site.
The Building Futures program is in its 13th year, and the students take part in every step.
When they arrive in the fall, we have one house framed, so they can start it at mechanical rough-ins with the plumbers specifically. And then the second house, they start right from the ground. So they survey it, they dig it, they crib it all the way through, right to the very end. And we complete both homes within the grade 10 year.
Jaden Stoicky went through the program in 2021. Now he's a teacher.
It's awesome. I mean, Building Futures definitely gave me a big jump start. It's how I actually landed this job here at plumbing.
Finley Thomas and his team are trying to decide on finishes for the home. They're looking at paint colors and everything else to complete it.
I never thought I would want to be like an electrician or a plumber, and now I'm just like, this is brilliant. This is awesome.
There are many tests along the way, like this one, where groups build scaled-down models of their homes.
We built this project in order to build credits and, learn from how to build our concrete and form walls and draw our blueprints and, work as a team.
Kevin Fleming, CTV News, Airdrie.
Now, it won't be as warm as today. We get to 12 degrees for a daytime high today. It is still going to be warm, at least temperature-wise tomorrow. We'll get to about 5 degrees. It may not feel all that pleasant, though, because of the wind. That wind will start to pick up here later on tonight and should be gusting 50 to 60 kilometers per hour right through the day tomorrow. A little closer to the freezing mark Friday, and then a big warm-up one more time on Saturday. We'll take one more run at a record high there Saturday before things gradually start to cool off next week.
Another 1891 record there, I'm sure.
No, actually 2009. 2009, so a little more recent.
Josh, thanks very much. That's our show for this evening.
1891
I love the 1890. It was a great year. Remember it well.
It was a hot one.
That's our show. Thanks for watching. Have a great night, everyone.